You will not believe the absolute dumpster fire of a week we've had with our Airbnb. House isn't cooling down. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to get an entirely new air conditioning unit. Toilet is clogged.
I'm gonna spill this. Shout out to my cousin for giving me this wine glass when she asked me to be her bridesmaid so many years ago. I have like real wine glasses with the stem and the fancy, but this is like solid. This is my wine drinking glass. Ooh, that's a vacation pour right there. No spills. Hello. We have had a very trying week with our Airbnb. Yeah, it's been a little bit rough. It's been rough for sure, hence the wine. And it's so funny because last month I was making videos about how much money we made during spring break, and the feeling was so great. We were on top of the world, and then we made Superhost and things were going well, and it's just like, this is amazing. And it's almost like the universe had to say, hold on, let's like take you down a notch or 2 or 3 or 4 because that saying of like, when it rains it pours, that was absolutely our week. Because this is a bit of a story time, I decided to pour a glass of wine because it's just been one of those weeks. So cheers.
So I was at the house last Saturday dropping some stuff off, and the house was struggling to get below 78 degrees. Checked our Nest app, and sure enough, house isn't cooling down. So call an HVAC company, they get out there. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to get an entirely new air conditioning unit. HVAC company goes out there, it's low on refrigerant or coolant, whatever. They fix it, we're good to go. Guest checks in late Sunday night, early Monday morning, they text us and the toilet is clogged. And we've had this house on Airbnb for 5 months. We have signs in both of the bathrooms saying, please don't put anything down the toilet other than toilet paper. Haven't had any issues. Plumber gets there and they pull wipes out of the pipes. Okay, toilets are working again. It is now Monday night, 7:30. Guest texts us again, and the wash machine is not draining. Get a plumber out there the next morning, and there was a penny blocking the drainage, so the water wasn't draining. Wash machine is now fixed. Everything's good. Thursday, new guest checks in, and about an hour or 2 in, toilet's clogged again. Like, why is this happening? We get a plumber back out there. They once again pull wipes out of our pipes. I don't know. Everything else goes smoothly with that guest. They enjoyed their time. It's Monday night again. We get out of a movie around 9:30 and we have a text from our brand new guest that checked in. Toilet is clogged again. Plumbers went back out there today and once again pulled wipes. It's happening every single time that someone new checks in. Like, there's no opportunity for them to clog this toilet, and it's too much of a coincidence that this has happened 3 times in a row when we haven't had an issue in 5 months. We text our cleaner. She got a new team member exactly 2 weeks ago. So we just said, please see if she's flushing any kind of Clorox wipe, and please remind her not to do that. But fingers crossed, that is the issue. I would still do Airbnb over and over again, but I'm not having fun this week. The universe is absolutely testing us.
We were a couple days out of this entire mess, and we've had another 2 guests check in. Haven't had any issues with the plumbing, which is amazing. So it turns out it was a teammate of our cleaners. I don't know if they were doing like a last pass as they were going through the house and like flushing a Clorox wipe or something, but it was absolutely the cleaners. It wasn't a guest. We got it figured out, but holy cannoli, I can't say the word I want to say. It was the week from hell. A very trying week. I didn't cry, but it was really stressful, I'm not gonna lie. Fun as Airbnb can be sometimes, and as cool as it is to make money from it, it is a business. There are things that are gonna happen, and so I always want to be transparent on here. I don't ever want to have this be the type of education where you just think it's all roses and puppies and stuff. there are things that are going to happen and you're going to have these trying weeks, but nothing comes without a lesson. So let's talk about what we learned from this. Lesson number 1, wine solves everything. No. It helps, but not the lesson here. Lesson number 1 from this: things will happen. And so you have to figure out a way to manage your stress and not immediately jump to the worst case scenario. I am a high-strung, high-stress individual. Honestly, my natural personality tendencies are probably not very well suited for this business, but I'm just like muscling my way through and trying to learn along the way. But when all this was happening, I jumped so far ahead and I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get 1-star reviews and we're gonna have to dig up all the piping in our front yard, including the AstroTurf. And I was Googling how much that would cost and it was saying $25,000. I took it to the extreme. And the worst case scenario you have in your head, it's probably never gonna be that. Yeah, calling a plumber and having all these issues and not knowing what was going on was frustrating for sure, but it was solved. The problem was solved with a call to the plumber. It was a couple $100 each time. Did I like spending the money on that? No, absolutely not. But it wasn't a $25,000 fix like I had created in my mind. And so you're going to have things come up and you've got to just learn how to go with the flow and try and not stress about it too much. Which brings me to my second point, and that is run to trouble. All those guests where I thought we were going to get 1-star reviews, it didn't happen. We got 5-star reviews from everyone because when they texted us and let us know about the issue, we responded right away and we had a plumber out there very, very quickly to resolve the issue. So I think people are really understanding when they see that you are addressing everything with urgency and doing your best to resolve the situation. Which brings me to my third point. For key members on your team like HVAC and plumbing, you really need to have a larger company picked out. And I'll tell you why. When you have, cooling issues or plumbing issues and someone's only staying at your house for 2 or 3 days, that's not like a long-term tenant where the air conditioning can be out for 2 or 3 days. That's something that really has to get resolved very, very, very quickly. Now, this isn't the case all the time. I know there's always exceptions. But if you have a plumber and they're a one-man show, it may be like a full day before they can get out to your house because they have other calls. Both our HVAC and plumbing companies that we work with have multiple technicians. And so when we called them, they have a receptionist that can answer the phone, meaning that our call is picked up right away. We're not having to wait for someone to call us back. And they had a technician always in the area. When we called, we were able to get a plumber out there within an hour or 2. And that can just make all the difference. It also helps you as a host because you just do not want that hanging over your head. Like, you want to get the problem resolved. So definitely consider going with a larger company for an Airbnb that has multiple technicians, so you can address those problems really, really quickly. Another tip, if you can, I would really consider getting a Nest thermostat. When I went to the house and realized it wasn't cooling off, it was so helpful to be able to look in the app and immediately see the data and see that, the house hasn't been cooling off past 75 for a while, and the air conditioner is running 23 hours a day. It would have taken us much longer to figure that out. Maybe we would have even had a guest that was really unhappy, which wasn't the case. We were able to get this resolved before a guest even got into the place. And so just having that data is so helpful. I would highly recommend. I know that we'll be installing Nest thermostats in every single Airbnb we have going forward. Another little thing we learned, when things are going haywire, you really need to keep your composure, keep your customer service hat on, and not assume that it's the guest doing something wrong. When we had the toilet clog, then the washing machine, then the toilet clog again, we really did think it was that guest. And it would have been so easy to not have a hospitality mindset and potentially ruin that rapport when it actually wasn't the guest, it was our cleaner. So just something to keep in mind. Don't immediately jump to conclusions. Keep calm, figure out what's going on, keep your hospitality hat on, and work towards a solution. I guess the last thing I'll leave you with is, yes, This last week was really, really stressful. It was very hard, but now that we're a few days removed from the drama, I can kind of see that this is going to be like any job that you have. When you first start, you don't know what you're doing. Everything's really complicated. If you get a problem, it's hard to solve. And then a year later, you're a pro. You just handle things like a champ. I wish that some of these problems had been spaced out a little bit more, but I can guarantee you the next time we have a toilet clog, it's not going to feel quite as frantic because we're going to know who to call. We've already been through this. We know the issue can get resolved quickly. And we also know that we're going to talk to our cleaner and make sure that nothing's going on. So as a new host, you're just working that muscle. And when these things pop up, because I guarantee you they will, I promise that it will get easier and you'll learn from it. It'll be a good thing. So I think that's everything. I hope I didn't scare you. That really wasn't my intent with this story time. I hope you learned something from it. But until next time, bye guys.